kind of claim I was early on her, right? Like, whoa, great call, Vega. You nailed it. You knew Hercules would be good in this game. Hey, welcome back to the channel. All right, that is correct. I had the opportunity to rank for 2 champions in one swooper, basically at the same time. EOP rewards had come in. I knew they were coming. I wanted to be able to do it, kind of do it in tandem, really make a big push on my account. Now, I've already done 2 of my top 10 champions to rank 4 list videos. I have updated them. And I was like, I'm always talking about the rankings team, the MCoC Illuminati, how brilliant these guys are about the game and how willing to give their advice and their opinions and be helpful they are too. So I went and I asked them, are any of you willing to take a look at my roster, give me advice, evaluate my roster, who you would rank up? I told them my priorities: Alliance War offense, Alliance War defense, and Battlegrounds. Those are the modes I enjoyed by far the most. And 3 of them were like, yeah, we would love to do that. So we're gonna hear from 3 of them today. I will do my best to provide notes basically on what they're saying. And then of course I'll do a little thing there at the end after they are done talking. We're going to hear from BMcG, Nerd, and DLL. I think you're really going to enjoy this. Make sure you give it a thumbs up, comment, like, and do me the biggest favor. Please go subscribe to their channels, not only to let them know you appreciate the knowledge shares, but then also you'll become a better player from watching their channel. I know because I have myself. Let's jump in straight to this. Here we go with BMcG.
Hey guys, BMcG here. Sorry I couldn't get my camera on for this little clip for Vega, but Vega asked me for rank 4 advice, and currently we're looking at his rank 4s that he has currently. He's got Doom, Spidey, Omega Sentinel, Shang-Chi, Null, Hulkling, Bishop, Overseer, Rintra, and Galan, all at rank 4. And this is a very impressive list of rank 4s in my opinion. All are viable for war, all are viable for battlegrounds. Both of those Vega focuses on quite heavily. So yeah, I really like what he has so far, and he asked us for advice on his next rank 4, so we're going to start scrolling through his other classes. And if I go back here, I see that Scorpion is rank 3. I feel like rank 4 Scorpion with Agent Venom or the Venom synergy is going to be insane on War Attack. And then Scorpion by himself is going to be really good for Battlegrounds at least, because he's just generally useful. He's flexible. He's a very strong science champ. If someone's immune to one of the types of damage that he does, you could just switch the type that you do, and there's a very good chance that there's no champ immune to all 3 debuffs he can place, I believe, which are Poison, Shock, and Rupture. Actually, I think Scorpion's the only Rupture immune champ in the game. So, take that for what you want. He's just insanely flexible, and he'll work for a lot of matchups against Mystic champs. And then another champ from this list that I could recommend is Thing. Thing is a very strong defender in both War and Battlegrounds, and he has his uses on attack, although they're quite limited now. Thing is definitely a contender for me if he's high sig, because he's more of a roadblock champ in Battlegrounds. Obviously, there are going to be champs like Falcon who shut down defensive ability accuracy, but if the opponent doesn't have someone of that caliber, or Tigra, for example, Tigra can just outdamage him, and her neutralize works fine against him. Other than that, he's a very good roadblock champion who will slow somebody down, so it could guarantee you a win in some matchups. So out of science class, those are the 2 that I would recommend. If we go to skill, Kingpin and Nick Fury stand out to me. Nick Fury is already a very strong defender in Battlegrounds, and he's kind of slept on in War. I think he's a very strong War attacker as well, but Kingpin plus Hood is like the most versatile champ in the game. Or most versatile skill champ in the game, sorry. Not most versatile champ. He just does so much with Hood on the team, because he could shrug any debuff. Granted that you're not, being inflicted with debuffs, more than half a second between each, I think is what the synergy states. But Kingpin He's very strong, and he could also stall out people on Battlegrounds defense, although I don't think that's the case with the shorter fights, like the smaller health pools. So I'm leaning Nick Fury out of all the champs in this, although Hitmonkey could be a fun one. He's very fast on Battlegrounds attack. But Nick Fury's probably who I'm leaning in skill. If we go to Mutant, probably Kitty Pryde. She's screaming. Like she's like the only one screaming at me that I think should get ranked up. I could also see Archangel being ranked up. Because he's insanely fast for Battlegrounds attack, but do you really need the 14% stat increase to KO the champ that you're facing like 2-3 seconds faster? I don't know. Kitty's definitely screaming at me here. So if we go to the Cosmic class, Vega could wail out, or not wail out, what's the term I was looking for? Essentially just rank up Surfer for prestige, but that's no fun. Out of this class, the Cosmic class, I think CGR is screaming at me. He's really good at R4. The increased combat power rate helps him a little bit for certain rotations, but yeah, I think that's it for this class. And if we go to the Tech class, I could really see Vega ranking up Penny. Or Nimrod. He doesn't have Nimrod at rank 4? Does he really not have Nimrod at rank 4? Oh, dude, Nimrod would be a sick rank 4. Yeah, dude, I think Nimrod would be an amazing rank 4. Yeah, either Penny or Nimrod, but if we go to the Mystic class, he could do America Chavez. She's a menace on Battlegrounds, or in Battlegrounds. If he took her to rank 4, I would definitely take her for defense. But Battlegrounds, those health pools are small enough to where she's useful on attack. And for defense, like one special 2 will just KO the opponent. He could also go with Man-Thing. But I'm kind of dead set on Scorpion being his best option. Because I know how much Vega loves Scorpion, and Scorpion's just kind of a beast. Pair him with Agent Venom, and he's like insanely strong for war. And Agent Venom is also just ridiculously strong with synergy as well. So I think Scorpion is my advice on who Vega should take to rank 4 next. I'd be curious to see what everyone else thinks, and thank you, Vega, for asking me to do this video.
Thanks, B. That was awesome. Not surprising at all to hear the way you went about it, and I really want to point it out to all the viewers because I think this gets lost so much despite it being said so frequently. He really went into who I enjoy playing. Obviously, he knows me, so that's very helpful, but I think that is one of the biggest pieces of takeaway of advice I'd like for you to have. Again, if you don't enjoy the champion, you're probably not going to like them, or you're probably not going to play them. And then, what was the point, right? This game is so big, so complex, there's so many champions. There's going to be other answers, typically, to the problem. Now, also, I just want to briefly touch on some of the stuff he said. He's very much correct about Thing. I agree with him. My Thing is SIG 200. I absolutely can't stand playing Thing. Very rare exception. Do I enjoy it? I used him in a war like 2 seasons ago. I did actually kind of like it. I'm not going to be ranking Thing. I took him up pretty early on. I think he was one of my first rank 3s, if I remember correctly, for Alliance War defense. And I just never use him. Plus, there's a lot of nullify immune champions and things like that out there now. And champions I just enjoy more. I know people do enjoy him. I think he's very worthy. But he's one that I just kind of removed from my list. So that was interesting that B brought him up because he is a great champion. Big agree on Scorpion. As it was fun to hear that was actually who he picked. I didn't know he was going to specifically pick one champion. And Scorpion is on the short list as well as Fury, basically for all the reasons they covered. I have a feeling the other guys are going to talk about them too a little bit. Kitty, I love playing Kitty. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know that before she even came out, she was one of the few champions I just reviewed the abilities on in the CCP, so I was aware of them. I was like, she's going to be a monster, folks. She's going to be a monster, and she obviously is. It was a weird scenario, and I'm going to kind of group this in with Nimrod, because I was extremely early on Nimrod, right? putting out the videos, and I was calling him the Tech Human Torch. Cool to see that that's caught on. I really like that. But telling you guys, like, if you're going up against a mutant, if you're going up against elongated heal, he can get rid of, turn into his own powering up, or if there was prowess, he is a monster. He's going to be destroying things. He's fantastic. It's really cool how much the community has caught on and enjoying him. I love that. But in a weird sort of way, I think because I was so early on both Kitty Pryde and Nimrod, I didn't get bored of them, but I've kind of moved on to other champions. They will eventually go to rank 4, though. They're 2 of the best champions in the whole game. Surfer and Prestige, I think it's a move I'm going to be making. I'll address that in another video later this week. Prestige is a thing. I feel like war rewards are going to be getting updated soon. I feel like we've been told that. I think it would only make sense to have AQ rewards improved as well. I like being an asset to my alliance. That's one way I can do it. I've already got Surfer at Sig 200. I have a rank 4 Sig 200 Doom. And I know some other things that will come up in some other videos. And then I love that he called America Chavez a menace. I love the character from a show and from the comics. He's not wrong. He's right about all that. Jaeger on my Discord server, awesome guy, has been pointing out a lot of cool stuff about America Chavez. But I've actually kind of dropped considering ranking her up to rank 4, at least this soon. So that was it. Oh, and Penny was a really cool surprise. I really love what she can do. It's a little frustrating because I do like her so much. It feels like she is not great for the evolving relationship between techs and mutants, which is a little concerning, right, given how new she is. That being said, she can do a lot of other things. I love her. She's very safe to play. I just wish there was something where, you know, if they're incinerated immune, you're kind of stuck, right? And that goes back to a champion like Scorpion or these other champions where if someone is immune to a source of their damage, they just go to another one, right? We see that like the awakened ability for Wiccan and things like that. I love Penny. She's very worthy of rank 4. She's someone I even kind of flirted with thinking about. Like, I think she's been in my, contenders and other videos. Not someone I'm really considering now. Scorpion, though. Scorpion and Fury. Those are 2 to really think about. All right, now, let's go on to Nerd. I think you're really going to enjoy seeing the different styles of all these guys, all the amazing advice. Thank you so much, BMcG. Make sure you go subscribe to his channel. Then go to Nerd, listen to this. It's going to be amazing. Subscribe to his, and then we'll get on with DLL.
Alright, hey guys. So today Vega is bringing me on to help out for this video he's making where he's deciding between his next R4s. I'm sure Vega has already explained the premise of this video in an earlier segment, so I will go ahead and just get right to the business. So for deciding these R4 decisions, one of the important things to do is look at, where you really have fun in the game, where you want to focus in this game, where you want to improve your roster for especially. And for Vega, this is Alliance War Defense, Alliance War Tech, and Battlegrounds that he mentioned to me. So, with this in mind, let's go looking through the classes. So, as you can see, for his current R4s, he has Shang-Chi, Spider-99, Overseer, Bishop, Omega Sentinel, Doom, Rintrot, Hulkling, Galan, and Null, which is pretty solid R4 set. So we're going to go look through, see what of his current R3s might, well, one, help to round out that rank 4 roster, and most importantly, what rank 3s would be really great at R4 for those previously mentioned game modes. So looking at skill, there are a few that really stand out to me. The first one is Nick Fury. Nick Fury is a pretty obvious one, of course, but obvious for very good reasons. He is going to be one of the best battleground defenders, one of the best battleground attackers, and currently we're in conduit seasons, which Nick Fury is absolutely amazing for, especially with these Spider-99 bans. Nick Fury is going to be the best stand-in for a lot of those Spider-99 band fights. For example, just 26 Doom and Doom Boss, Nick Fury is amazing for, and, a lot of conduit fights in general, Nick Fury is amazing for, because he never needs to knock that opponent down. So, that's definitely one of the standouts for War for me, as well as for Battlegrounds. Nick Fury is just an amazing R4 choice, of course. Really, really fantastic choice there, honestly. I think he's the obvious pick, but there is going to be some consideration with how many rank 4s are already in my battle group, all of that. And the other nice thing about Nick Fury for rounding out the skill class is he currently has Shang-Chi. And Nick and Shang kind of serve like two different purposes within the skill class, whereas, Shang-Chi is kind of your utility guy. He's going to be used for some specific matchups, especially on all the shrugs, slow, all that stuff where you want that. And then Nick Fury is kind of just your nuke that's going to go get everything done. He's just going to be a killer. And yeah, so that's the first standout to me within the skill class. And then there is also Killmonger. That's a really good pick. But Killmonger, the thing with Killmonger is he is definitely hurt quite a bit by Conduit, because whereas the last few seasons with High Ground and Mystic have certainly fed him some specific fights, Conduit Tactics instead is going to specifically get you to not want to use Killmonger for fights, just because he's very reliant on using his specials for a lot of his utility you get, and you don't really want to be doing that with Conduit, of course, but he is also a very good pick for Alliance War defense, and he's very solid in Battlegrounds, both for attack and defense in Battlegrounds, but mostly as a defender. And yeah, the final two standouts here are Hitmonkey and Moleman for me. These are both Alliance War defense and both likely Alliance War defense and Battlegrounds picks. The thing with both of these is that they do have a lot of overlap with Shang-Chi, but the nice thing is that these two are just so good on Battlegrounds, so if they're going to get placed on defense as well, they can definitely be really good picks. And I mean, Moleman is also a very good war attacker, but, seeing as he already has Shang-Chi, that's going to cover a lot of that ground for war attack. So, yeah, let's look into science now. So, the standouts in science for me, there are two big standouts. First of all, you have Scorpion, who's just so good on Alliance War attack, especially with potentially Ant-Man's buff. If that's really good, you're going to be able to take Nick Fury, Ant-Man, and Scorpion into a war team, and with that evade synergy, you get really safe lineups for that big damage dealing L2 with the evades to give that nice safety. And he is just a monster on war attack, and he is also very solid on war defense, and then he's pretty damn good in Battlegrounds as well. The thing with Battlegrounds for me is Scorpion's kind of one where he's not very commonly the best option for any fight, but he does cover a whole lot of ground in Battlegrounds, and he can do decent on defense. Not my favorite pick for defense, but he can put in work there. And now the second pick that really stands out to me here would actually be Mr. Negative. He is so good for Battlegrounds, of course. He's been one of the best attackers because Mr. Negative is just super consistent with his time to kills, and he can just take such a wide variety of matchups so quickly, because there's not all that many things that can really stop Mr. Negative in Battlegrounds, of course. And then the one negative that I will say about Mr. Negative is that he does have a lot of overlap with Spider-99 and Overseer with that anti-nullify utility. So you might want to lean Scorpion for some more variety among that science class, but yeah. Now getting into Mutant class, you've got a lot of fantastic picks in Mutant, of course. And, I mean, there's a lot of standout picks here. You have APOC, who's going to be an absolute beast on Alliance War. Not the best in Battlegrounds, though, I might say. You have Storm, who's just so extremely quick on Battlegrounds. He's a very solid nuke. You have Toad, who's going to have a lot of uses in all three categories. He's very strong on Alliance War defense. Specifically for option splitting, so maybe not one where the R4 really matters, but you can do some neat things with Toad to just force someone to bring a Nimrod or a Warlock or whatever, and especially that Nimrod thing with Conduit Seasons, he can definitely do some things on defense. And the next couple of standouts are AA and Omega. These are just amazing attackers. I'm not sure how comfortable Vega is with Omega, but if you're willing to invest that time to get really, really good with Omega, he's one of the best rank up options there is. It's super quick in Battlegrounds, and very good in Alliance War, of course. And then Archangel is Archangel. I don't think much needs to be said about Archangel. Amazing for Alliance War attack, amazing for Battlegrounds again, and yeah. Now, getting into tech cost, this is a little bit of an interesting one. Because Omega Sentinel does cover a lot of the ground of the two options that I would really consider, like, sort of the best tech options right now, which is Warlock and Nimrod. These tend to be the best in Alliance War. These two are just pretty much always going to be relevant on Alliance War attack. This season, Warlock's getting a big boost, and Nimrod's always going to be amazing, pretty much regardless of what's going on, just because he's Nimrod. So, yeah, there's a little bit of a tricky thing with the tech class, where a lot of the champs just have a whole lot of overlap, so, maybe try and round out the other classes before you go for a lot of tech options would be my recommendation. But Warlock and Nimrod are fantastic for Alliance War attack, and they are both fantastic for Battlegrounds as well, so they're definitely not bad choices by any means. And you've also got Nebula, who is just a monster in Alliance War attack, especially with Sick and Tired going on right now. Definitely not great on defense, and definitely not great for Battlegrounds, but she's really, really strong in Alliance War attack, so there's definitely a lot of merit there. Now for Mystic class. He has Doom and Rintraw currently at R4, which is honestly almost all of the Mystic needs you really will ever have, so it's kind of hard to recommend anyone else here, but my top picks for this class would definitely be Tigra. She's fantastic for Battlegrounds. She can go on both lines for defense, and if you're a big kitty player, Tigra has a lot of value on Alliance War attack as well. It's a bit tricky to justify ranking up Tigra without having both Kitty and Nimrod at R4 already, because a lot of times she just wanted to be that trinity, but she's very strong regardless. But if you want to invest heavily in Kitty and Nimrod as well, Tigra's a fantastic pick right there. And yeah, now to round out for the final class, Cosmic. So what do we have in Cosmic? We have a few fantastic picks for Battlegrounds. Let's talk about this. As a defender, you've got Terrax, who's just tearing a lot of things up. He's really good with Conduit as a defense tactic right now. It counters a lot of the best options to Terrax in general. Normally one of the big problems with Terrax on defense previously had been that Doom could still take him, so there weren't really any tricky placements, but now that's not really the case anymore, so he definitely has some merit on Alliance War attack nowadays, and Alliance War defense, and he is Sick and Tired. There are some interesting things I've seen with him on attack. Not sure I'd R for him for attack, but that is there, and he is, of course, a fantastic Battlegrounds defender as well. And then, to get to the obvious pick, Herc. Again, he's super obvious, just like Nick Fury, but he's super obvious for a good reason. With Season 37, we're going to be getting Whitelist with Conduit, which is going to be a fantastic tactic. With Hercules, he's going to be a monster in Alliance War attack. And then he is one of the best defenders and one of the best attackers in Battlegrounds. Just an absurdly strong champion. I don't think I need to say more about that. And yeah, now some final notes that I want to give towards ranking defenders. Just because, the Alliance War defender meta is kind of in a little bit of a weird spot right now. With there not being very many placements that are, specifically, oh, this one gets a whole lot of kills, and it's less about, oh, I really, really specifically need this defender at R4. And it's more about just having, as many defenders at R4 as possible to try and just see if those extra stats can just add that little bit of extra risk all over the place. So one of the things I would recommend with ranking defenders right now is try and make sure, if you're someone that's pushing Battlegrounds, try and get your defender rank ups to, of course you want them for Alliance War defense, but try and make sure, they're going to be making it into your Battlegrounds deck as well. So that's just an important note for, making defensive rank ups right now, in my opinion. So yeah, thanks again, Vega, for having me on, and hope you guys learned something from my commentary on this. And yeah, take care, guys.
Wow. Okay, there was so much in there, Nerd. Thank you so much. I want to start off by commenting on, I love the spreadsheet. I mean, that's very, one, it's smart, and I appreciate the detail you went through, but also really reminds me of the great Battlegrounds kind of advice on attackers, defenders in your videos, and those spreadsheets are so incredibly helpful. I've screenshotted all of them. They're up on the Discord server. I'm going to be using them, so thank you very much for that. It's also helpful for me anyways to see them all laid out and kind of realize like how many of each champion class I have. Nick Fury comes up again. I mean, there's a reason he was already on my short list of champions to consider. And Nerd has been showing us how well he can be utilized on attack for multiple seasons now. But with Conduit, there's a lot to it there, and why Fury is so, not more valuable, but why you even heard him talk about replacing Spider-Man 99. I know the first time I heard that, I was like, those are very different champions. I don't understand that. Go and look at Nerd's channel, and you'll explain, or you'll understand why pretty quickly. Also cool for me, and this was nice to hear like how Nerd thinks about the game, right? I hadn't really thought of it, but it makes so much sense about how I already have Shang-Chi. He knows I love using Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi's like the utility champion, of course, with that massive SP2 potential damage. Fury more of the nuke, right? With those big bleeds, and then he can get that massive Fury too. And how those two together would cover a lot of what you want out of your skill champions. That made a lot of sense. I hadn't really thought of it that way. It's another point for going with Fury. Scorpion, we already talked about Scorpion at length. Well, a unique thing that Nerd also brought up here, I hadn't thought of this, was if that Ant-Man buff is good, that means you now don't mind taking him along with Nick Fury. Remember, it used to be Quake who you would take along, so you then needed to learn, well, you'd had to know how to play Quake or just be comfortable with the fact that she was purely just there for that synergy. And one of the things I've talked about at length about Scorpion, despite loving him, was that the playstyle is not necessarily risky, but it might be a little risky for Alliance War if you're not bringing in Venom or Agent Venom, being able to bring Nick Fury. And if Ant-Man is usable, you've now got a heck of a trinity that really made a lot of sense, and you can play Scorpion the way he's kind of designed to be played without that Venom, Agent Venom synergy. I really like that. We'll skip over Mr. Negative because honestly, I'm not really considering him despite realizing how amazing he is. Omega Red. Slay is a channel I've shouted out quite a bit. Good dude, amazing Omega Red player, and Nerd was very polite in saying, he didn't know how comfortable I am with Omega. I am nowhere near comfortable, in other words, skilled enough with Omega Red to take him to rank 4, take him into Battlegrounds and places where I would want to use those rank 4s. Those champions I'm rank 4 in right now, I want to use them. I want to play them a lot. I like Omega Red. I see the value. I'm not skilled enough with him, which means I won't enjoy playing him very much. So I got to do rank 3. Similar thoughts on Tigra. He brought up Tigra. I'm much further along in my progression with Tigra. I'm a much better Tigra player than I am Omega Red, as odd as that probably sounds, but I'm not there yet. And I feel like that's something where if I was going to do it, I would want to take up Tigra and Kitty Pryde at the same time. I really love that synergy. I almost just think of Kitty as having that synergy. It's not fair to Kitty, but it's how I grew up playing her, right? When I got her. Terax I hadn't thought about. That's a great idea, but I think even Nerd started to kind of balance off of that. We'll address Herc because he is, like Nerd said, obvious. I'm not going to be Herc. It's not going to be Herc. I got enough Cosmics as it is. And Hercules, it's similar to what I was saying about Nimrod and Kitty Pryde. It was pretty obvious, though, that Herc. I'm not going to claim I was early on Herc, right? Like, whoa, great call, Vega. You nailed it. You knew Hercules would be good in this game. So amazing advice. And the last part, and then, there's so much advice I'm hoping you all can take away from this, right? And it was another just awesome nugget, as he's saying, like the way Alliance War defense is for those of us who play Alliance War or take it seriously, or even if you don't, you just enjoy doing Alliance War. You don't have to be in tier 1 or tier 2 to enjoy Alliance War. It's really nice if your Alliance War defenders can also be utilized as on your deck. Rank up resources are limited, so that's something I know I'm going to be considering, and I think it's smart advice to get that out. Thank you so much, Nerd. Go subscribe to his channel. Come back. Now you can hear it from what I call, who I have been calling for years now, the smartest man in the battle realm, DLL himself. Thank you so much, nerd. Thank you, DLL. Let's get to it.
Alright, so looking over possible R4 options, I'm taking a look at the ones you already have. So immediately I see 3 Cosmics, so I'm probably not going to recommend a 4th. I see 2 Mystics and 2 Science each. Obviously Miguel and Overseer are both very good, cover different ground, but that does mean that I would be a little bit slower to recommend another Science, and same with Mystic after Doom and Rintra, although there is some room there for sure. So I'm probably going to be looking first at Tech, Skill, or Mutant. Alright, so moving on. Out of the Science options, Scorpion is really, really good. That does jump out to me right away, and he does pair well with Miguel. I know a lot of people make a huge focus on the synergy with Agent Venom and Venom, for good reason, of course, but the one with Miguel is quite good too, especially letting you pound away on block there. I mean, I love Mr. Fantastic. I think he's an absolutely amazing rank 4. I would want you to also enjoy playing him before I recommended that. He is an incredible travel partner with Doom in particular, though. I think those are probably the top ones that stick out to me here. Okay, so moving on. For skill, Kingpin is a beast. He really is. Nick is one of the most overtuned characters in the game, so he's a fantastic choice. Just trying to think about what I know you enjoy, though. I'm not sure any of the skill options leap out to me as obvious ones. Moving on for now. So in Mutant, Kitty is obviously very strong. From what I remember, I'm not sure that you're in love with playing her. Going through some of these others, a lot of champions that I really, really like. Apocalypse is an incredibly safe rank 4, one of the best mutants, one of the most versatile characters in the game. I do know you really toyed with making Professor X your first or second rank 4. I think that's my recommendation. Just do that, enjoy him. You'll have fun with it, even if you are looking for places to use him. So on to Cosmic. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to recommend any of these. Like I said, you got your bases covered. Hercules is stupid. Surfer's great for prestige. Angela's fun at high sig. I know yours is, but that can also kind of lock you into a role in war. Yeah, I think I'd probably skip past most of these for now. In Mystic, I know if you felt like you were at the spot for Tigra, where you really wanted to take her up, you probably already would have, and she has some overlap with Rintra, so not necessarily going to recommend that right away. Chavez could be fun. I mean, it kind of depends on how good you think she'll be for various battleground metas, I think is where it comes down to. And then Hood is a beast. Hood is particularly nice if you end up taking Kingpin up now or later. So I think... Oh, I skipped right over Tech. I mean, Nimrod pairs really, really well with Omega Sentinel, as well as being one of the best characters in the game. Guardian is an old favorite of ours, I know. And I do think as more and more people get rank 4s, I think he makes more and more sense as a rank 4, so I do think that's a good one. From what I remember, I'm not sure if you really enjoy many of the other techs, so let's see. Overall recommendations are probably Nimrod, Professor X, and Chavez, I'd say. Those 3, and I'd probably put Professor X first. Sorry if this was more from me than you wanted. But those are my thoughts.
Thank you again, DLL. Again, it amazes me. Same roster, right? Same rosters, all of them looking at it, and yet they all found a unique reason and why and way to say Scorpion would make a ton of sense. DLL this time bringing up the synergy actually with Spider-Man 99 Miguel, one of my favorite champions in the whole game. How well they pair together too. Scorpion, maybe he's good. Maybe he's good. Interesting too for me how much DL is talking about this 2 science class champions I have and the 2 mystics, how they cover so much ground together, right? That's something maybe I should start working in more with my own advice, because Nerd said something similar about when you're ranking these champions up, like what do you always have, right? Like I talk about accounts more generally and like who's going to help you, who's going to add to your account. But when you break it down by class, it does make a lot of sense, right? If you're trying to make a choice between a few champions in a class, maybe having one who covers something else, like kind of like I have done with Overseer and Spider-Man 99, Rintra, and Doom. Rintra and Doom was more intentional on my part. I gotta be honest, I don't think I was thinking it through that well with Overseer and Spider-Man 99. I just wanted to rank them to rank 4, which is part of it. Really cool to have DL bring up Mr. Fantastic. And I have to say, I'm gonna think this through more and I'll talk about it more in streams and in other videos. You saw I took up Galan. I really like Galan a lot. Like I almost feel like I identify with him. He's the champion that I think I most identify with in this game. We'll talk about it more when I do a Galan video. He has a nice synergy with Mr. Fantastic, who I already love. I really do enjoy playing him. And I feel like if somehow Miguel doesn't work for the fight, but it has power gain or things like that, Mr. Fantastic's going to work excellently for it with the way bands are now working in war. I really am considering Mr. Fantastic. They work so well. And then I love playing Doom. I really do. The slap and the whole thing. I have mine at rank 400 or rank 4 Sig 200. Rank 400 would be good though. And so being able to pair those 3 together, that just sounds like an absurdly powerful attack team. Moving on. Interesting talking about skill. And I do feel like this happened with all of them. I'm reading into it a little bit, but no one sounded excited about skill or mutant. Both those classes are so powerful. I think in one case, reading into it a little bit, I think it's Fury's just so good, right? You heard the term like overtuned, overpowered. I can't think what the third term was there. And I do agree with that. Fury is going to go up eventually for me. I don't want to guarantee it, but I bet in the next like 6 rank 4s, Fury is one of them. And then similar with Mutant. Mutant is so powerful as a class. I have all of them. But you heard it again. There was no like, oh, you've got to rank this mutant. Really interesting there. I found that. I think that's something to kind of ponder on, think about. I'll get into that. Tigra, again, the skill level. We've already talked about that. Chavez, this is someone I always talk about, like rank up who you enjoy. Have fun. And then sometimes I'll add in, like, just make sure you're happy tomorrow. I think she's someone who in the moment I would love to rank up. I'd be like, yeah, I've got a rank 4 America Chavez. I ranked up for fun. And then I would take her into a quest and be like, oh, I'll just use Miguel because he can actually end the fight in less than 5 minutes. And I will not be happy the next day. And that's why I just haven't brought her up, despite really liking her. Hood and Kingpin, I don't want to fall into that Hood Kingpin role. And you heard DL talk about that with Angela. This is a really more, I think, like a high tier war type of issue where you get assignments. And this can happen where if it works and you get good at fights and you maybe you're the only one in your BG with a rank 4, that becomes your job. And I don't particularly enjoy playing Angela. And cool to hear about Guardian. Interesting point about how as R4 rosters are growing, maybe he makes sense. Maybe I think because I would assume because he's still unique. Not a ton of rank 4 Guardians out there. I think Amanda in my alliance, she's in BG3, really cool YouTube channel, does a lot of war videos. I think she's got a rank 4 Guardian if I remember correctly. And Ares in my current BG4 Loki, I think has a rank 4 Guardian. So really smart players are bringing him up. As you know, if you've paid attention to my channel, he's one of the first champions I was ever like very firmly like, this champion is amazing. So that's cool. It's a good idea. And then the Professor X pick, like that just shows DL how much he knows me. I do love Professor X. I don't find myself playing for him. I think the skill cap is very high. But when we went to go back into Gauntlet, I found myself just using him again because I wanted to. I love using that champion And not for nothing, but he does have a really nice synergy with Quicksilver, which handles one of the issues I have with Professor X when playing him, is that he reduces the, I think he reduces the ability accuracy of Shrug or something like that. I don't remember the exact wording, but basically he helps you parry stun champions like Crossbones and Korg. I want to thank the whole team, the whole Illuminati, because they all give me so much advice, help. Basically, what you just saw was a video version of what we do every month for the rankings. And there's like 4 or 5 other people on the ranking team, the MCoC Illuminati. This is just who was able to put forth the video. Please help me thank them. Go subscribe to their channels. Let them know that you saw this and how impressed you were by the way they approach things. Because the fact of the matter is, they're incredibly smart about this game, but they are also incredibly kind people who've, from all of my experience with each of them, they just want to be helpful. They have a lot of knowledge, they want to be helpful, and they enjoy it. And that's why they're on the MCoC Illuminati. So thank you to them. Thank you, as always, to you, the viewer. And I will, this video was about advice and helping you kind of go through that whole process. And me going through it, I am going to take a lot of it seriously. And my next rank 4 is going to be, I hope you either learned something, were entertained, or even better, a little bit of both. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.